anyway, so then, this is, this is a couple years later. So, well, not a couple. I would say this was maybe a year and a half after, a year maybe a year after I had watched her kid. Because I remember, I had watched her kid, and I remember it was like the time when my sister had decided to move out or leave because whatever, was because we had brought her in once. So she had stayed for a while, and then she had left, and then we let her come back because when she had left with the boyfriend, the father of the kid, they had gotten into some arguments. I didn't know at that time that all their arguments were related to drugs, But anyway, then she had come back, and so this second time she came back. So the first time was before she had left. Was her kid was turning 3? Because I remember having a birthday party here for her kid, because she turned 3, and anyway. So then now we're gonna go back to where we were at the bar there, and anyway. So that was the second time we had let her move back in. By this point, the kid was, I think, 4 or, near it anyway. Anyway, so, so on the way home, I'm like, I can't keep you at the house anyway, because she started fist fighting me in the car, and my husband's driving. So she punches me, she pulls at my hair. So then of course we fight back, and she knocked my glasses into my eyes, and I ended up getting a black eye because, she knocked my lenses into my face. Stuff like that. And, anyway, so then we ended up kicking her out one last time. And this actually was the final time so far. So we're up to about 2009, I think. I can't remember honestly anymore at this point. It just was so long ago now. But anyway, my husband was like, nope, can't be in the house anymore. So she ended up calling the cops, because we didn't even let her come back into the house after we got back into town. She ended up calling the cops, and I remember going and answering the door at like 3 in the morning, because I had already had my contacts out and jammies on and all this stuff. And here's a cop at the door, and she's like, do you have some things of your sister's? And I'm like, she had to call you to come get her stuff? Well, she didn't feel like you would actually, answer the door. So she's like, she just wants her purse. And I'm sitting here going, I wonder what's in that purse. She probably had drugs in that purse or something. Anyway, because as soon as we got home, she just took off. She took off somewhere. And then she was telling everybody that I ended up callously kicking her and her daughter out on the street. So everybody, all of her friends, wanted to beat me up because I kicked out a mother and a child from the home in the middle of the night. And she's like, not even telling them the whole story or anything. And it's like, motherfucker. So anyway, and then she moves down to Texas with some guy. She's just bag chasing at this point, She's just following some guy because he offered her some drugs. So she went with him. And, her and her daughter went with him down to Texas. And then apparently at some point she met this other guy who ended up, in a few years, who would end up being her, well, actually a few months. She married him within less than 6 months of knowing him. But anyway, she married this guy, and of course it's all under drug pretenses too, so, just a mess. So anyway, it's like 2011 now, and I told her, I said, you can't call me anymore, because she was still doing that, like calling me in the middle of the night, and she started calling me during the daytime, too. So she would call me during the daytime, whine, crying, I want to come home, Angie. And it's like, God, it got bad enough to the point where I was worrying more about her safety, and I just was so distraught all the time. And I said, I can't have you calling me, anymore.